Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Antaryascha Bahirvidudatimiram Jyotirmayam Shashvatam Sthanam Prapya Virajate Vinamatam Ajnanamunmulayan Pashyan Vishwamapidamalasatiyo Vishwasya Pare Paraha Tasmai Sri Ramanaya Loka Gurave Shokasya Hantre Namah. We'll read first 9 verses here. Satpratyaya kim no vihaya santam. No, this is what suddenly 5 it goes. Okay, number 5 onward. Number 5. Okay. Satyam vrusha va chididam jadam va dukkam sukham vedi muda vivadah adrishtaloka niraham pratitihi nishta vikalpa parama kileshta Sarupa buddhihi jagadishvare cha Sarupa dhiratmani yavadasti Arupa atma yedika prapashyet Sadrishtireka anavadirhi purna Yat panchakoshatmakamaspri deham Tadantara kim bhuvanam chakasti Deham vina panchavidam tadetat Pashyanti keva bhuvanam banantu. Shabdadirupam bhuvanam samastam Shabdadi sattendriya vritti bhasya Sattendriyanam manaso vashe syat Manomayam tat bhuvanam vadamah Diya sahoteti diyastameti Lokastatothi prabhibhasya eshah Diloka janma kshayadama purna Sadvapurnam sadvastu janma kshayashunyamekam. About the nature of the world, the discussion, where is or what is this world? Is it the world possible to be experienced without the Panchakoshas, 5 koshas, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Atma, Anandamaya, Tesham vina Jagatah Astitvam Kim. And we also saw that the world is always experienced as one's own, in the form of thought only. And therefore it is said, Diya saha udeti, Diya saha astameti. Diya, buddhya, vritya. By thought alone it appears, with the thought alone it disappears also. Lokaha tata diprabhibhasya eshaha. Diprabhibhasya, diya prabhibhasya. It is only illumined by diya, by the thought. What thought? Manovritti. Manasaha vrittihi, mind in the form of thoughts, and sarvavrittayaha aham vrittim ashritaha iti katitam Ramanena. Sri Ramanena katitam. It is already spoken by him or indicated by him. Sarva vrittayaha, all thoughts are aham vrittim ashritaha. It is depending upon the thought called I. Because all thoughts are subject-object relationship only. Where the objects are constantly changing, the subject I does not change. So what is this subject I which we are talking about? Now here, Lokaha is Jagat, Diyasaha, Sarvasa Manovrittinam Moolavritya Aham Diyasaha Udayati, Udgachati. Aham Vritti Sahita, only with the I thought, the world appears. As soon as we wake up in the morning, even the physical body which is part of the world is also known to us. We are aware of it only when aham, that very I awareness, when it is there, then we experience the world along with our mind. With the physical body onward, the entire world is known only when there is aham vritti. So aham diya saha udeti utgachati. Diya saha aham diya vritti rupa saha astamedi adarshanam gachati layasamaye sushubdi samaye. At the time of sleep also, along with this I thought, only the world also comes to disappear. Every day, in fact, every day we give up ego. Every day we give up ego. And in that giving up of the ego, Paramashanti, not only to us, to everybody in the world. Aham vritti, when it is aware, I awareness or I thought has come up, aham, I am so and so, I am this, I am that, I am great, I am big, I am powerful, I want this, I don't want this, I like this, I don't like this. All that thing arises as soon as the aham thought arises. And all these various manifestations in the form of likes and desire, anger, love, passion, greed, jealousy, all of them, aham, when it is astamam gacchati, saha lokamapi astamam gacchati, astameti. Tataha tasmadeva lokaha idam jagat iti vyavahara siddhaha. What is jagat or lokam? Idam yatyajayade sarvam jagat. Whatever goes by the indicator idam iti. And this very world, which is the object of our thought, diya di pravibhasya aham mulaka divritya eva prakashya bhavati iti siddhanti kukurmah. Thus we can conclude that di prabhavibhasya, lokaha di prabhibhasya, it is being illumined by the aham vritti. What is this aham vritti? Chitchaya upeda vritti. Chichaya upeda vritti. Meaning what? It is none other than the reflection of pure consciousness. This I thought is none other than what we know as disguised consciousness. The reflection of consciousness. Just like the moon is bright only when sun is absent. But sun is not absent really. Sun is not seen. It can never be absent. It is present only. We don't see it. When we don't see the sun, moon becomes bright. When sun is there, moon's brilliance is no more. Even though it is present, it cannot have its own independent presence there. In the same way, Atma, if we compare it with the Surya, Aditya, his own reflection alone is appearing as the moonlight. And moonlight is no doubt is necessary or seen to be illuminating all objects we see in the night. But is it moon's light? Reflected light. In the same way, Aham Vritti is a reflection of consciousness. Vishayabhuta diya chitrupatvad bhasakatvam Vishayabhuta lokasya bhasyatvam cha spashtam bhavati. Because it has that illumination, it is capable of illuminating the objects. As I know, Atmanas Satchidamshasya Amshascha Buddhehe Vrittiriti Dvayam Sanyojya Cha Avivekena Janamidi Pravartate. This is very important verse in Atma Bodha. The nature of consciousness, nature of the self-being, of the pure existence, consciousness and bliss, plus the vritti that takes place in the thee, together makes the notion that I know. Aham janami iti pravartate. So this reflection of consciousness illuminating the objects is what makes a thought complete. The subject lending its light to the object and recognizing its presence. The subject lending its light to the object and recognizing its presence. That is called experience of a thought. Sarvasyapi jagataha manomayatva nirupanena. Everything in this world therefore is experienced by us only as a thought. Sukshma rupa dhivrittehe, the thought being the subtle within us, stula akaratvena jagataha, and the world is perceived as a gross thing outside us, as though thought and the world. Thought is sukshmam and world is stulam. The thought is subtle, the world is gross. We saw it before also. Manasaha sukshma rupam antar sukshma rupam, manasaha stula rupam jagat. Subtle part of the mind is thought, gross part of the mind is the world. Pradibhadanat vivruttau swamule ashraye upasamhritayam. So when this is understood, this the aham vritti chit chaya upeda amam vritti, endowed with the reflection of consciousness. Now swamula charcha, what is this nature of this aham vritti? In that way, when we start dwelling, instead of worrying about what it is illuminating as the world, we go in to find out where is the source of illumination for this aham vritti. Pradipadanat divruttau swamule ashraye upasamhritayam. When it is Swamula, its own source, when it is withdrawn into Upasamhritayam, then what happens? Vritti Vishaya Avantara Bhakyo Drilokau Tulya Udaya Astamayoho Sadeka Moolaveva Bhavataha Ityuttarardhena Dradayati. So it is going to be shown in the next second part of this same verse, when the withdrawal of this dhi, that is the aham vritti, when it is withdrawn into the source, we will understand where the world is rising and where along with the thought, and the world is merging along with the thought. Diloga janma kshayadama. See the second part of the third line. The loka janma kshaya dhama. Dhama, abode. The abode of what? Janma and kshaya. Birth and death. Of what? The cha lokascha. Of the buddhi, ahamvriti, and loka, the world. The loka janma kshaya dhama. The abode of the birth and decay of the I thought and the world. What is that? Where does it arise from? Where does it go back to? Diyo aham diyaha lokasya jagataha janmanaha utpattehe kshayasya vilayasya cha dama moolam sthanam. What is that abode of its birth and death? We have seen, along with the aham vritti alone, the jagat also comes up. Aham vritti, when it subsides, the world also goes up. So where do they both rise and fall from? Iti, when we come to inquire upon that, then we say Purnam. There, the very abode from which both of them rise up. Complete. Abhinnam, non-different. Abhaditvat, cannot be ever disappearing, ever falsified. Sukshma stula beda abhavabhyam dilokabhyam janma kshaya shunyam. Janmana kshayena cha shunyam varjitam. That which is not subject to janma and kshaya. That which is not subject to birth and death. That which does not have absence at all. Janma kshaya shunyam, janmana kshayena cha shunyam varjitam sadvastu utpatti pralayavataha dhilokayoho karana samagritvena pratipaditam swayam utpatti pralaya vivarjitam. That which is subject to no change, and at the same time, from where alone aham vritti, along with the aham vritti, about the loka vritti also rises up. That is what? Purnam sadvastu janma kshaya shunyam, without any birth or death, ekam, one. Jagat jivadi aneka akara vyavaharasya moolatve abhi ekameva bhavati iti vakyasheshaha. Ekameva, Purnam. That is why the very famous verse, Purnamataha, Purnamidam, Purnat, Purnamudachyate, Purnasya, Purnamadaya, Purnameva avashishyate. From this Purna Atma alone, the so-called infinite world has come. Purnasya, so what is it? Purnat, Purnamudachyate. Purnam Adaha, Purnam Idam. Adas, that one is Purnam. Idam, this is Purnam. Purnamadaha, Adas, that, which Brahman. Purnam idam jagat. Purnamadaha, Purnamidam. Purnat, Brahmanaha. Purnam, jagat, uchyate. Uchyate means is Purnat, Purnamudachyate. It comes to being. Purnasya Purnamadaya, when we take that infinite world to its own source, Purnameva avashishyate. When withdrawn, what remains is Ekam Purnam, one without a second. That is the essence of this very verse. And again, Ramana Maharshi will point out, Swamula charcham kuru, Swamula charcham kuru, Swamula charcham kuru. Go to the source, find out the source. Lokasya moolam tata dhi moolam aham vritti moolam ekameva. And that ekam is purnam, complete. Janma kshaya vivarjitam. It does not have birth or death. So, this, up to this point, all these 9 verses, as a summary is given here. Grantha Arambe, in the beginning of this verse, this composition, Nishkala Brahmakya Sadbhava Smarana Dwara Sahajatma Nishtam Upadya Anantaram Sakala Brahma Akyasya Sarveshwarasya Sharanyatvena Vabadanaya Sampurna Atma Samarpana Rupayam Prapattau Upadishtayam Ekasyeva Brahmanaha Sakala Nishkala Bedana Asmadadehe Grahana Kshamatvat Dvivida Mangalam Acharitam. 2 Mangalacharans were given in the beginning of this text in the form of remembrance of the Sadvastu, which is Nishkala Swarupa. The reality which does not have a part, which does not have a form. Sat pratyaya kim nivihaya santam hridde rachinta rahito hridagyaha kadam smaramas tamameyamekam tasya smritihi tasya dridaiva nishtha. Smritihi nishtha. Nishkala brahmanaha smritihi nishkala brahmani nishtha. That very remembrance of that formless infinite presence is only by abidance in that Nishkala. So here Nishtha is what is given as the important message in the first verse. In the second verse, where the important given is the upasana of a person and going to the Lord of Death, Mrityunjayam, Mrityubhiya Shritanam Aham Madihi Mrityumupaiti Purvam. First of all, when a person is of fear of death, out of fear of death, a fear of limitation, when he comes to have a surrender to that Lord of Death, first thing that goes to death is Aham Madihi. Adasvabhavat amruteshu teshu, by nature being immortal, kadam punarjanmadiya vakashaha. Where is a question of mrityu, even the thought of death, how can that be possible? In the death of the ego, there is no fear of death. So in the second verse about Sakala Brahma Upasana or Sakala Brahma Dhyanam. Sakala means along with parts, along with option, along with qualities. So in this way, 2 paths are shown. One is called Nishtha, another is called Prapatti. One is abidance, another is surrender. Both are being given, and both as such, in both of them, the individuality is lost and reality is realized. So in 2 ways it can be reached. In this way, Mangalacharan was done in first 2 verses. Secondly, further going, Vastutaha tu eka eva san purushaha. In reality, there is only one complete real truth. Jagata adi akaraha bhavati iti. That itself has taken the form of the entire world, appearing to be there outside. Dridikaranaya sa eva apara shaktihi. And for that sake of the appearance of the world, there is a supreme power is necessary. Sarvakarana samagriti, that which is the very ingredient of the entire creation, that is said in the third verse very clearly. Sarvair nidhanam. sarvair nidanam jagado ahamascha jagadaha ahamascha sarvaihi nidanam. The support of both world and the individual being. Vacha prabhu kaschidapara shaktihi. It is said to be the one presence externally and internally operating as only one with immeasurable power. Chitre trilalokyam cha vilokita cha pata prakashopyabhavat sa ekah. Just like the picture and the one who is seeing the picture, the seer and the seen, the canvas and the light, all of them are one alone manifesting as many. As Bhagavan Krishna would say, that I am aham sarvasya krishnasya prabhavaha pralayah stata. I am the prabhava and pralaya. I am the beginning, origin, and the pralaya at the end. Matta paradaram na anyat kinchidasti. Jananjaya. And other than me, there exists nothing. So, sarve nidanam idi slokena siddhanta muktva. Having said this very clearly, that it itself is the world and the seer of the world, both kshetram cha, kshetrajñas cha, the field and the knower of the field. Or in the 7th chapter, as I would say, bhumirapo nalo vayuhu kammano buddhireva cha ahankari ityadi. So, aparaprakriti and paraprakriti. Then in the verse number 4, he said, Jagad Jiva Ishwarakya Tattvatrayasya. Of the three things, Jagat, the world, Jiva, the individual, and Ishwaraha. Jagat, Jiva, Ishwara. Jagat, the world, individual, and the God. So these three, Trayasya, Paramartikatva Ashanka, Vadavat Shanka Nivaranaya. By themselves they are eternal. To avoid that point, Sarvasyabi Samayasya Prarambha Tattvatraye Paryavasanam tu Sanmule Sadvastu Nishkalatvam Smaritam Arabhyate iti Shlokena. In the verse that is, in the 4th verse, it is said, all philosophies, Arabhyate Jiva Jagat Paratma Tattva Bidhanena Madam Samastam. All religions start with this questioning or inquiry about world, individual, and God. Itam Trayam Yavadaham Mati Syat. These three are experienced only when there is Aham Matihi. I thought is there. Sarvottamaham Madishunya Nishta. This Jagat which is causing trouble to us, the Jiva that is appearing to be limited, and we are all constantly afraid of God, Ishvara, Lord. So all these are come to an end when we realize that all are present only when there is Aham Matihi, the notion of I. In the absence of the I, Aham Madishunya Nishta Sarvottama. The freedom is only when Aham Madi is absent. Because the religion continues to keep the individual under captive by creating fear in the mind of the people. About the world, about God, about the individual's death. See, why are we, most of us are afraid of either something happening to the world that will cause trouble to us, or we are so unhappy about the limitations that we have, or about death. God who will punish us for the sins that we commit, there is somebody who is going to punish us. In this way alone, religion constantly keeps everybody under control. It is in fact necessary, otherwise people will be out of control. See, it is like, they say that, what do you call, either you use the danda or carrot. Danda means punishment, carrot means desire. How anybody will work in this world? Anybody will work in this world when you show them or show that person, you will get this, you will achieve this. If you do this, you will get it. So carrot. So that person desirous of that very fruit of action, such a person will work. And that is also who is going to give finally the result? Bhagavan deta hai. Lord will give. So do all these things. So all the rituals are performed only to give them that, this is your fruit of action. Do this for that. And if the person is not coming to terms by showing him the carrot, then done. If you don't do, you will get punished. You will go to hell. You will be punished. You'll be persecuted in the hell. Therefore, you do it. When ahammadi shunya sthitihi, that state of ahammadi shunya, sarvottama, that is considered as the highest. So, continuing here, the fifth verse, niraham bhava nishtaya eva tattva siddhihi. In the absence of the aham bhava alone, tattva siddhihi, the reality is obtained. Tattva vicharanaya pravruttaihi nana siddhanta vadaihi idi pakvadiyam jignasum atma unmukhi kartum. For the one who is thus desiring to reach that complete perfection and understand the reality, to make him clearly know that jignasum atma unmukhi kartum, to turn his attention towards the self alone, nirvikalpanishtam satyam mrishacha idi slokena smarayitva. In the fifth verse, therefore, what is said? Satyam mrishava chiditam jadam va dukkam sukham vaedi mudha vivadaha. All these various philosophical discussion, whether it is real or unreal, it is jadam or chetana, all these discussion are futile compared to adrishtaloka niraham pratiti. The state of no mind is nishta avikalpa parama kileshta. That's nishta akila ishta. It is that supreme desire of reaching of the supreme moksha is only when this aham madishunya nishta adrishtaloka niraham pratiti, the state of the thoughtless presence of thoughtless abidance in the self alone. So all these unnecessary discussions are to be given up. They are only for intellectual deliberations. People who do not have faith or conviction, for them all these arguments are necessary. Such people get caught up in the whole thing and forget about the very purpose. They start with the purpose to release themselves, free themselves, and in the meanwhile, as they study and more get into it, they get into the quagmire of discussions. Vacharambanam, vikaro namadayam. They get into the world as words. So reminding him that way. Then in the sixth verse, Sarupa dhiridi slokena pramanantana dadapeksham masmadadehe anubhavasiddhasya aham akyasya jivasya sarupatvadeva jagataha ishwarasya sarupatvam iti abhidaya. Whether the supreme reality has got a form or no form, etc., are also being discussed and debated upon. Sarupa buddhir jagadishwarasya sarupadhiratmaniyavadasti. So long as we are identified with our physical body, we have the feeling or notion that the creator also is of a physical form with characteristics. When we realize arupa atma yadiha prapashyet, when a person come to realize the nature of the self as arupa atma, formless, sadrishtireka anavadirhi purna, that vision alone is considered as limitless vision, boundaryless vision. So that therefore, grihituhu jivasya prarambaha rupagrahane paryavasanam tu sarvaswarupa atite niravadike sarupa bhute nishkale sadvastuni eva iti siddhantitam. Evam sarvatra sakala prasange nishkalatvam vismritam mabhut. While thus explaining about this Sarupa, formful Lord, about Jagat, Ishvara, etc., let him not forget about his real nature as formless, nameless, attributeless presence. So, sakalatvam tu vyavahara siddhatvat अस्तित्वेन अपि उपगम्य एवेदि सकल निष्कल पक्षयोः विरोधस्तु तर्कयुक्ति मद उन्मत्त बुद्धिगतः एव. The discussion and deliberation about attributeful or attributeless God, etc., are merely for intellectual deliberation. Na vastugatah, not really. Iti cha tatra tatra smarayan, reminding us again and again, eva pravrittamidam shastram avagantavyam. That is how this has been proceeding. Now, in the 7, 8, 9, the verses 7, 8, 9, it is said that how do we experience this world? Along with the Panchakosha alone, along with the mind alone, with the mind alone, as a thought. And as a thought, the very root of the thought is ahamvritti. Ahamvritti's root of the ahamvritti is Paramatma, the self, which is Purnam. Evameva yat prapancha panchakoshatmakam shabdadirupam diya sahudeti iti tribihi shlokaihi samashti vyashtiyoho bedam abedam tatvatah nischitya vashte jivasya panchakoshatmakam sharirameva jagat bhavati. Panchakoshatmakam sharirameva jagat bhavati. Samashta ishasya panchakoshatmakam jagat eva sharirasam shariram bhavati iti gamayitva. See, as much as these 5 layers of our personality is the world here for the jiva, in the same way, the entire world is the body of God. So when you say, what is your body? We immediately point out this. Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya. But what is the body of God? Entire creation is the body of the Lord. So the similarity is the Panchakosha of the individual and the entire creation is also Panchakoshatmakam of the Lord. So, Gamayitva Panchakoshanyatamasiya Manomayasya Sarupam Vicharya, thinking, understanding that this world is experienced only as the mind, Jagataha Manomayatva Pradipadana Dwara, understanding the world is nothing but a thought, Manomula Ahamdibhasya Lokasya Ahamdiyam Upasamhara. Understanding the mind also is coming from Ahamvritti, that tasya upasamhara, withdrawal of that, Ahamdiyascha Satvastuni idi Pradipadanena. In that mind or the I thought, when it is merged into the self, Sadvastu Ahamdi Rupa Dwara Manomayatmaka Bhavana Akaratam Gatamidi Spashti Kritavan. Consciousness reflected in Ahamvritti, Ahamvritti reflecting in thoughts, thoughts through the layers of the thought through the senses bringing out the world, and the world is experienced. When you retract it, the world, experience of sense organs with the mind, mind in the form of Ahamvritti, the root of Ahamvritti is Paramatma. So that way, the Moolam is Paramatma, which has no birth or death. Purnam ekam janma kshaya varjitam. Iti. That's how in this 9th verse it is concluded. So the thought process must be understood, how it has been so far from the verse 1 onwards up to this point, how we arrived at. So that is what is in a nutshell given here. Now in the verse number 10, what about those people who are worshipping seriously, like doing the upasana of a particular chosen form of God, Krishna, Sri Rama, or Shiva, or Ganesha, Hanuman, or Jesus Christ. In so many other religions also have their own way of worshipping. What is the purpose of all that? Adoktalakshane tadvusvani tadatmya nishta eva saddarshanam. What is saddarshanam? What is a real vision of the truth is spoken in the next verse. We read here, verse number 10. Bhavantu saddarshana sadhanani parasya nama kritibhi saparyaha sadvastvani prapta tadatma bhava nishtaiva saddarshanamityaveihi bhavantu saddarshana sadhanani parasya nama kritibhi saparyaha sadvastvani prapta tadatma bhava nishtaiva saddarshanamityaveihi. Parasya namakritibhihi saparyaha saddarshana sadhanani bhavantu. Saparyaha sadhanani bhavantu. Namakritibhihi. Nama akriti. So the name, chanting the name of the Lord, japa, or akriti. Akriti means form, akar. Akritibhihi saparyaha, worship, prayer, etc. Parasya devasya, Ishwarasya. So Ishwarasya nama akritibhihi saparyaha, prayer, etc. Sadhanani, these kinds of practices, saddarshana sadhanani bhavantu. The final is, they should be retaking you towards vision of the truth. But actually, what is saddarshanam? What is saddarshanam? Sadvastuni prapta tadatma bhava nishta eva saddarshanam. The vision of truth is nothing but, in that reality, I am this. This way, complete identification with the self, I am Brahman, I am this. That is what is called saddarshanam. Prapta tadatma bhava. Tad atma. Tad atma, that very self alone am I. In that way, one realizes, let the worship of the names and forms of the Supreme be means to the vision. So, prayer, etc. are means. Only the way helpful things. It doesn't take you to the portal of the truth. They help you. You have vegetables, you have water, you have the vessel, you have the oil, everything. But cooking is possible only when there is fire. Pakasni paknivat jnanam vina mokshaha na siddhyati. Pakasya jnanam. For the cooking, it is fire. Everything else you have, but fire is not there. Then you will have what? Salad. Put all of them together. There are people who are just against cooking. No cooking. Only putting all together various combinations and etc. That is what we call it as a meal. Now, what happens is, when you don't cook the food, body has to do the job. Cooking has to happen inside the stomach. The Ishwarananda Agni has to do a double shift. Because you are not You're not cooking the food. So raw food when you eat, it has to be digested. That Agni inside has to start the work. But then, Swamiji, you mean, are you against salad? No, I'm not against salad. That can be part of the food. One item can be salad, but the whole food is salad, then what happened? Very sad. Not salad, sad food. Because the body has to exert more energy to digest that food. Because body cannot take it as it is. It has to disintegrate it, first of all, and then take the energy out of it and remove the unwanted things. That's why when people eat salad, they have physical tiredness will be more. You may think it is very light, etc. But body working too much. But overcooking is also bad. Because you will lost all essence in that very cooking itself. What you are eating is only a shell. And when people overcook it, you feel like, what is this? Everything is dead. It's all lost. Especially this bindi, oh my God, the way they cook with the oil and that, it dies. Black, dark, dyed in the oil. Overcooking is also bad because it has lost everything in the very cooking itself. So what is going to do inside the body? Pakasnivasmagnivat jnanam vina mokshaha na siddhyate. What is this jnanam? Aham mula charcha. That jnanam is not just gaining some information from the books or the shastra from the teacher, but this mula charcha, the finding the very root of the things, that very core of our own being, that very search, that vichara, reaching you to the portal of the truth. That's why it is said here, sadvastuni prapta tadatma bhava. Tadatma bhava nishta. Eva saddarshanam. Namakritibihi, namabihi, anantaihi, Shiva, Vishnu, Brahma, Indradi, namabihi, akritibihi, hiranyamayadi murtibihi, Prithvi, Ab, Teja, Vayu, Akasha, Surya, Chandra, Yama, Yanjamana, Akyabihi, Ashtabihi Murtibihirva. This is Ashtamurti. In this way, Murti Birva, Parasya Ishasya Saparyaha Karmani. Saparyaha means Kriyamanaha Pujaha. Saddarshana Sadhanani. Sada Purushasya Sarveshwarasya Darshane Shashatkare Sadhanani Sahakarini Bhavantu. Sahakarini Bhavantu. They can be helpful means. This has to be understood. They are only helping you to reach the final truth, not directly taking you there. It's like you are preparing for a long ride. When you are preparing the car for everything, you prepare the car and tires are checked. Everything is checked. You have put all the material that you need for the journey. Everything is done. Gas is not there. Or electric car, you have not charged it previous night. Now, because of the electric car, you need more preparation. Previous night itself, you have to go and charge it. You forget. Morning you get up, everything is ready. Car is cold. Cannot start. Why? It needs 6 hours of charging. At least gas is, at least you can go and put the gas and start up right there. But electric, it'll take time. You have to prepare more, plan it very well. So all other things are sahakarika sadhanani. What? All japa, upasana, all these are all. Jiva kalpita vrishavahana garudavahanadi murtibihi. That is Shiva with the Vrishabhavahana, Vishnu with the Garudavahana, मूर्तिभिः ईशकल्पित अग्नि वायुः आदित्यादि मूर्तिभिर्वा, or that which is ordained in the Vedic literature, like that of the sun or the Vayu and all these various deities also, Sarva Adhishtatra Chaitanyasya Sarveshwarasya Upasanam Phala Pradam Eva. They no doubt give the result for the worship. Worship has got a result. All the prayers and all the various rituals definitely will have result. What kind of a result? Phalam cha upasaka shraddhanurupam. Shraddhanurupam phalam. Please understand this. Upasanasya phalam shraddhanurupam. Any ritual you do or any kind of upasana that you do, prayer you do, japa, all that can have a result coming from the Lord depending upon Shraddha. Yo yo yam yam tanum bhaktaha Shraddhaya archutum ichchati tasya tasya achalam shraddham tameva vidadami aham. Bhagavan Krishna has said, whichever be the form a person worships, yo yo yam yam tanum bhaktaha shraddhaya architum ichchati. With a very great faith that person engages in that very act of worship. Tasya tasya achalam shraddham, to those people, firm faith, tameva vidadamyaham, that I will provide. श्रद्धा कैसे हो सकता है? मैं ए श्रद्धा से एक काम करता हूँ, with the faith when I am doing a particular action, and according to my faith, according to the desired, with the result when it comes out of that very act of worship, make me have greater faith in that. Even you take any work, any activity in the world also, any profession you take, any work you take, when you get the result as per your effort, then you have more faith in that. I did this with faith, I did it with the belief that it will give me, and it gave me the result. If you are going to buy a lottery ticket in a particular shop, you have been going there for a few years, and once you got even $100, you got it, let us say, as a lottery, you will not go anywhere else. You go there only. Why? Shraddha. How did you get the Shraddha? Because I got a result out of it. Shraddha mayoyam purusha yo yashraddha sa eva saha. Whatever is your Shraddha, that is what you are. Because that you keep on doing the same thing. Because you got a result out of that very thing. So, what gives you any result when you are performing any kind of upasana? Shraddha there. So, here, Shraddhamayasya upasaka purushasya upasya murtihi nirapeksham murti abhimanini devata phalam vidatte. To that person who is doing with great faith a particular form of God, in the particular form of God, the very same one reality alone provides that fruit, gives that fruit. Tasmat Brahma Atma Sakskarasya Nama Sankirtanani Murti Pujanani cha Upayogini eva. Therefore, these kind of Nama Sankirtanam, Murti Pujanam, etc., they are only for giving them a result, and they are only helpful means. See, inquiry into the truth is not an external fruit. Jnana abhyasaha na bahirphalaya. Is it not? What result you are expecting out of jnana abhyas? Jnana marge, in this path of knowledge, where you are to inquire about the reality of the truth, and you are engaging in Atma Anveshanam, Sad Anveshanam, inquiry into the truth. In that inquiry into the truth or inquiry into the nature of the self, kim phalam, what result? Ichchasitvam. What are you seeking? Bahir phalam or antar phalam? Is it an external result you are seeking or an internal result? Yadi bahir phalam ichchasi. If you are seeking for an external result, upasanam kuryat. Deva upasanam kuryat. Then you do a upasana of a particular form of God. Because if you are doing with the faith a upasana, you will get the result which is external. But Atma Nishta or Atma Darshanam na sambhavati. But then how do you say that it is helpful? Manashantaye. Manashanti siddhyartham. Ekagrata manasaha ekagrata chit siddhyartham. For the sake of mind to become one-pointed. Its ability to focus. Nishta eva sakshatkara iti Nishta eva sakshatkara. Sakshatkara, the realization is only through the nishta. Sadvastuni sarvasam upasyamana purtinam ashrayabhute sadbhavakye brahmani. Which is the very support of all those murtis who are worshipping. In that sadvastuni, that's the third line you see, sadvastuni, what? Sadvastuni, sarvasam upasyamana murtinam ashrayabhute sadbhavakye brahmani. Prapta tadatma bhava. Praptaha labdaha sa eva aham iti bhavaha yasyam va. सदात्म भाव है. जो मूर्ति मैं पूजा करता हूं, जो मूर्ति को मैं मूर्ति का उपासन मैं करता हूं, वो मूर्ति, उसका आश्रय जो है वो मैं हूं, आत्मा हूं. ऐसा तादात्म्य, दिस काइंड ऑफ अ तादात्म्य, उपास्य मूर्तेः आश्रयः यः, the very support and the substratum of the worshipped Lord, yah, sa eva aham pratyaya ashrayah. That alone is the very support of my I thought. Iti tadatma siddhihi yasyam nishtayam. When that abidance takes place, sa eva nishtha na anya. That alone is called abidance, not anything else. That's Saddarshanam, Satya Sakshatkaraha iti eva iti janihi iti upadesha. You understand that. So by saying this, one does not, Ramana Maharshi doesn't say you don't worship. Worship is necessary for support. The mind needs support. The mind needs to be purified. The mind needs to be focused. Iti bahirphalam iched. If you are expecting external result only, that's why Bhagavan also said, Chadurvida bhajante emam jana sukrutin orjuna artho jignasur artharthi jnane cha paradarshava. The various kinds of people are there, 4 kinds of bhaktas I have, and they come to me. And they, even though udara sarva evete, jnani tu atmaiva. Even though all of them are udaraha, men of purity, men of greatness, sarva evete, jnani to atma evamevadam. Astita sahi yukta atma. Such a person who is astita sahi yukta atma, he has gained the correct vision. We'll see more in the next session. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayaः, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkhabhat Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.